So you've read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 17 that tells us that we ought to pray without ceasing. Is the Lord telling us here that we should be walking around just praying all day continuously, neglecting our work, not giving our best to our chores, and neglecting fellow man, just praying and praying and praying all day long verbally? No, that's not what the Lord means. What he's saying is that we should take him with us into every activity of daily life, right? We know that we ought to pray 3 times a day. We have worship in the morning and in the evening. But in between that time, he wants us to be prayerful. He wants to turn the posture of our hearts towards prayer, to be intentional about consulting him about every situation that happens to us during our activity of daily living. We get up in the morning and we're praying, right? And so we're commuting to work. We're asking God for journeying mercies. And so you're running late for work. The Lord wants you to thank him for running late, because you don't know what he's keeping you from. You're going up the stairs, running up the stairs, and you had 3 drinks in your hand, 1 fell down. Thank the Lord. You don't know why he had that one spill. Maybe there was something in it to make you sick. Pray all the time about everything. Let it become a lifestyle. While we're commuting to work, if there are persons around us, we're asking the Lord to impress upon our hearts how to minister to persons that are around us, so that we can be a blessing and direct fellow man towards him. All right, so we get to work. We want to commit the day before him, even though we already prayed in worship at home. Wants to pray once we get there and commit everyone that's there to the Lord, so that we'll have a good day altogether, right? So that at the end of the day we might be able to say we had a good day, something like that. All right, so as we go on, working is hard, right? And if it isn't, then it's not work, because we know that the Lord says that we ought to work. By the sweat of our brow we shall eat. So we might not have enough strength, or we need some encouragement. He wants us to turn to him, whisper a word of prayer in our heart, asking him for his strength to go throughout the day, praying for our co-worker next to us. We go to lunch, we're blessing the food, we're praying, right? On our way back from lunch, we're committing the rest of the day towards the Lord. Situations that happen at work where we have to make decisions, we're asking the Lord to help us to make a decision that is within his will. Sometimes we think we have the answer, but we should know that our own wisdom is not sufficient to take us through this life and keep us in God's will. We need God's intervention, right? And so in every situation, we're sitting there, we have a minute or two, we whisper a word to the Lord, thanking him for helping us through the day, thanking him for fresh air, for protecting us from the elements, because it's so hot outside and we're inside. We're thanking him for protection. Work is hard, we're having a hard day, but we're thanking him for the job anyway, because we know that the blessing is in the curse of working hard, right? And work keeps us out of trouble. And we consider working a privilege, right? And a blessing, and we're thanking him for that. So we're on our way home. We're thanking God for taking us through the day safely. We pass an accident on the road. We're praying and we're asking God to take care of everyone that's involved in that accident, right? So we get home and we're tired, but we still have to be present. We still have chores to do. And so we're asking the Lord to help us, give us his strength to take us through these committed chores and still be present for our family. We feel a little grumpy, because we're tired. We're asking the Lord to help us. Help us that we will fight through the feeling, right? And even though you're tired, you're still asking the Lord to help you to conduct worship or to call worship and so on and so forth. He wants us to take Him in every iota, so to speak, in every activity of daily living throughout the day. And when we practice this, it will become a part of us. And actually, our minds will start doing it automatically. Right? When problem comes our way and we ask Him for help, automatically our brains are going to see that as one of our coping mechanisms for trouble. And automatically we're going to start praying. And who do you think wired our brains like that? Yes, He did. And so that's what it means to pray without ceasing, especially in these last days. We see time is ticking away and certain things are not in place. Pray and ask God to help us that we will find our place in helping with the setting up of God's kingdom. Pray about everything and all things. And even when it doesn't feel like we should be praying, we should be praying. That's the time we ought to pray the most, when we feel like we cannot pray. I hope this was a blessing and a challenge to someone. Until the next video, God bless. Bye.